Whispers in the rain. The sky had been clear that morning, the kind of blue that made promises about sunshine and serenity. But by mid-afternoon, the clouds rolled in like an old song, slow, soft, and familiar. When the rain finally came, it wasn't angry or rushed. It simply fell, uninvited and unapologetic, soaking the world in quiet. Maya didn't have an umbrella. She stood beneath the bus stop shelter at Willow and Ninth, clutching her sketchbook and trying to protect it with her denim jacket. She had spent the morning drawing in the park, losing herself in lines and shadows, unaware that the sky had plans of its own. The streets cleared quickly. Cars sped by, tires slicing through puddles. People ran with newspapers over their heads, or ducked into nearby cafes. But Maya stayed. She wasn't sure why. Maybe because it had been so long since she had let herself get caught in the rain without caring. Maybe because there was a part of her that liked how the world went quiet when it rained. Or maybe fate was simply giving her a reason to meet him. The first thing she noticed was the music. A low hum, a melody under his breath. Not loud, not sharp. Just a hum, like someone singing only for themselves. She turned her head and saw him half-drenched, curls stuck to his forehead, leather jacket darkened by the rain. He was holding a single flower in his hand, a daisy. "I didn't think it would rain today," he said casually without looking at her. Maya raised an eyebrow, amused. "You don't say." He glanced over, grinning. "No umbrella either." She held up her soaked jacket. "Apparently not," he laughed. And it was the kind of laugh that sounded like it belonged to someone who didn't take life too seriously. "I'm Eli," he said, offering his free hand. "Maya," she replied, shaking it. "Nice to meet you, Maya dash, who dash DOESN, 2 dash believe dash, in dash, weather dash, forecasts, dot double quotes." She smiled despite herself. "Nice to meet you, Eli who cares, flowers, in Thrain." He glanced down at the daisy in his hand. "It wasn't supposed to be in the rain. I was on my way to see someone." "A date?" He shrugged. "Sort of. It's complicated." A pause stretched between them, filled with the rhythm of falling rain. The kind of pause that holds curiosity, not awkwardness. "I'm sorry," Maya said softly. He looked at her, puzzled. "For what? For the rain? For your plans being ruined?" Maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they just changed. And with that, they fell into conversation, as if they'd known each other longer than 5 minutes. Maya talked about her art, how she couldn't go a day without drawing, how the world made more sense in charcoal and color. Eli talked about music, his love for vinyl records, his habit of writing songs he never shared. The rain kept falling. Time forgot to move. When the bus came, neither of them got on. Instead, they walked. Their shoes squished with each step. Water clung to their clothes. But they laughed, sharing stories and secrets between splashes. Maya told him about the time she'd gotten lost in Paris for 4 hours and ended up sketching in a graveyard just because it was peaceful. Eli confessed that he once played guitar outside a bakery every Saturday just to hear the owner's daughter laugh. They stopped at a little corner cafe, soaked and dripping, and shared a pot of chamomile tea. The owner gave them towels and a look that said, "Young love is the best kind of chaos." By the time the rain stopped, the sky had turned to soft gold. Sunlight spilled between buildings like an apology. "Will I see you again?" he asked as they stood outside. "I don't know," she said honestly. He looked disappointed but not surprised. "I'm not great at planning," Maya added, "but I'm really good at showing up when it rains." He smiled slowly, and it lit up his entire face. "Then I'll wait for the rain." It rained again the following Tuesday. It's not a storm, just a drizzle. Enough for Maya to consider fate might be a little mischievous. She went to the same bus stop. He was already there. "With 2 daisies this time." "You showed up," he said. "So did you." He handed her a flower. "I told you, I'd wait for the rain." They met every time it rained, sometimes at the bus stop, sometimes at the park. Once at the old bookstore on Pine Street, where Eli claimed the poetry section was haunted by a ghost that only read Rumi. They never made plans, never sent texts. No phone numbers exchanged, only rain. Maya found herself sketching his face more often, his crinkling when he smiled, the way his mouth tilted when he was thinking. Eli, in return, wrote lyrics about the girl with ink-stained fingers, who only kissed him when the sky was crying, because yes, they kissed. Not often, not with urgency, but with meaning. Each time was like pressing pause on the world, like whispering something sacred into the quiet. One night, after the kind of summer storm that rattled windows and turned sidewalks into rivers, they found themselves beneath an awning, soaked to the skin. Eli looked at her seriously for the first time. No jokes. No teasing. "I think I'm falling in love with you," he said. Maya's breath caught. "I think I already did," she whispered. He stepped closer, took her face in his hands. "Then let's stop waiting for the rain." She hesitated. "I like the unpredictability of it," she said. "The way it doesn't follow rules, like us." "But I want more," he said gently. "I want sun and wind and all the boring days too." Maya looked at him, heart pounding. She wanted that too, but it terrified her. She nodded anyway. "Yes," she said. "Let's stop waiting for the rain." They exchanged numbers. Started meeting on purpose. Coffee dates, movie nights, mornings at the farmer's market, afternoons in her studio where he played songs while she drew. The rain still came. And when it did, they always met under the same bus stop, just for old time's sake. But now, it wasn't the only place they existed. Love grew between them, soft, steady, real. Until the day it didn't. It was a Thursday. The sky was painfully clear. Maya sat alone on the bench at the park, phone in hand, staring at the message she hadn't expected. "Eli, I need some space. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't be what you need right now." She reread it over and over. No call, no explanation. No rain, days passed, then weeks. She didn't hear from him. He had disappeared as suddenly as he'd arrived, and Maya found herself staring at the sky every morning, praying for storms, for thunder, for any excuse to go stand in the rain and hope. But the sky stayed dry, until one quiet September evening, clouds returned like an old friend. Rain began to fall, not loud, but heavy, honest. Maya didn't hesitate. She grabbed her jacket and sketchbook and walked to the bus stop at Willow. And 9th, he was there, drenched, daisies in his hand, eyes filled with regret. "I didn't know how to come back," Eli said quietly. "You could have just come," she whispered. "I was scared. I thought I'd ruin everything." "You did?" Silence. Rain whispered between them. "I'm sorry," he said. "I panicked. It felt too real, too fast, and I didn't trust myself to deserve it." "You don't get to decide what I give," Maya said, tears mixing with rain. "You only get to choose if you accept it." Eli stepped closer. "Then I do. I accept it. I choose you, all the time, not just in the rain." She stared at him for a long moment, then reached for his hand. "I still love the rain," she said. "So do I." They stood there under the storm, letting it baptize them in second chances. Years later, people would ask how they met, and Eli would always say, "In the rain, when neither of us had an umbrella," Maya would add. But love really began when the rain stopped and we stayed.